We begin this lesson in linear perspective with a quick look at another kind of perspective. This is a painting that I did in the lesson called Creating Depth in the Landscape. And you can see that this big tree is in the foreground, then there are other trees further back, the lake is further back, and the mountain behind the lake is still further back. And then there are many layers of mountains fading off into the distance. This is an example of atmospheric perspective. It's incredibly useful for landscape painting, but the minute you start putting man-made objects into this thing, let's say a barn, you'll get in trouble unless you understand linear perspective. Linear perspective comes in 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point, and we're going to start off with the simplest form, 1 point perspective. This is a picture of my den. It looks sort of complicated, but let's see if I can't simplify this for you. The fundamental principle of linear perspective is that all parallel lines converge at the same point. That is something you have to accept. You have to get it into your soul, because once you've done that, you find perspective easy. Let's start by looking at the top line on the left. It's just a little bit of the ceiling of the left-hand wall, and it moves down towards a point where all the lines converge. The next line below it is the top of a painting on the wall. The line below that, the one that goes all the way to the side, is the top of the fireplace. Then there's a little short line that represents the arm of the couch that you're looking at straight ahead. Below that is another long line representing the bottom of the fireplace and the top of a little stone shelf that protrudes in front of it. The next is the bottom of the shelf. Then we have a shorter line that's the left-hand side of my coffee table. A long line that represents the left-hand side of the rug below it. The next line is the right-hand side of the coffee table, and then the right-hand side of the rug. And finally, the arm of the couch that we see on the right side. Notice that all of these edges are parallel to one another, and all of them converge at a single point. Even if you look through that doorway on the middle left, looking into my kitchen, you'll notice that the floor lines and ceiling lines and doorway lines also converge at that very same point, even though the plane of the kitchen wall is way back beyond the plane of the den wall. Again, the principle here and the principle of all linear perspective is that all parallel lines meet at the same point. Now let me show you this in action. I've drawn a rectangle on this piece of watercolor paper. It's supposed to represent the far end of a room. Against the wall, I've drawn a window and a painting of Aunt Tilly, and I've also looked out the window and drawn a horizon line. On the horizon, I've drawn this vertical. It's actually a focal point. That's where all of our parallel lines are going to converge. That's what artists call the vanishing point. Why did I locate it where I did? For artistic purposes. If I had put it in the middle, I would have divided the room in half and made a boring drawing. If I put it in the middle of the window, that would have been the same sort of thing. The window is contrived. I needed that to put a horizon in the room. Soon you'll see why it's there. In the meantime, let's just call that vertical a lighthouse and its reflection, as seen across the bay. Here's Cousin Louie. He's standing on the floor right up against the bar wall, and he's looking straight ahead. His eye level is the same level as the horizon, and that's no coincidence. Imagine yourself standing next to that lighthouse right on the horizon. Where's your eye level? Well, you're just too small to see. Your eye level, yourself, you're all just part of the horizon. So if you're looking at Louis and he's looking at you, and you're both pretty much near the surface of the earth, your eye levels are going to be the same. And interestingly, every single person in between will have the same eye level as long as they're the same height. So if someone were standing way out here, their eye level would still be here. Their head, top of their head might be here, and the bottom of their feet might be there, but their eye level will always be there. Why do we care about this? Well, in landscape painting at least, the horizon is where the vanishing points go. And when we get into two-point perspective, that's going to be real important. Let me show you a little trick. I took a thumbtack and I punched a hole right through this intersection. Then I went around the back and pushed the thumbtack up through the hole and covered it with a piece of masking tape like this. Now that supports the thumbtack really well on the bottom of the paper so that you can just easily support something against it. Then I took a strip of mat board, taped on a tab here, and punched a hole right there. That will work great. Well, I placed my little mat board assembly on the pin, and I added a piece of tape just so that you can see it move because everything here is white on white. And it's working quite well. Let's begin by looking at the edge between this wall and the floor. Well, we know that that edge begins at this corner here and comes out somewhere, and we know that it passes through the vanishing point. All we really have to do is get this lined up. And there we have it. We can do the edge between that wall and the ceiling the same way. We can do the same for the other wall. And finally, for this one. It's already looking like a room to me. Just so you know what you're looking at, I've got an old drafting table here that I'm working on. This is the horizontal lines, and we use a triangle slid along that to make the vertical lines. I'm going to want to put a table on this wall, but I don't want it touching this wall. Nevertheless, we're going to construct it on this wall and bring it forward, and I'll show you how that works. Let's say the top of the table is here. And let's say I want the table that far out. While I'm at it, I'm going to make up the thickness of the tabletop. And now we have three excellent points of interest. We have this end of the tabletop, we have this end of the tabletop, and we have the bottom edge of the tabletop. What's next? That's easy. All of these are called construction lines. You'll see why later. The right side of the tabletop, the left side of the tabletop, the bottom of the left side of the tabletop. Looking like a tabletop already, isn't it? Now we need to know something important. We need to know where the legs of this table are going to hit the floor. Right there. You probably got the idea already, but it goes like that. And by coincidence, the angle of the tabletop is exactly hiding this edge of the rear leg. So we don't have to deal with that. That's kind of lucky. Let's cut the table off. Move this to here. And cut the table. And while we're at it, let's go over to here and cut the other side of the table. It's kind of easy. Let's drop the legs. We'll come over here to this corner here, the front one. Drop a leg. The other front one. And I guess the other front one here. All right, slipped a little bit, but that's not so bad. Now, bottom of this leg comes to here and goes this way. I'm just going to eyeball some stuff. I'm going to say that the leg over here is this wide, and I'm going to say that it's this thick. Now we have to put the thickness of the top in so that we'll get our other leg. And all we do is use this intersection here, right across, and we have our line there. This leg is going to be much bigger, and I can just eyeball it here. I'm going to say it's that big. Oh yeah. We just need a similar size, and that looks right. Okay, now this side needs the same size as this side, so I'll just eyeball this as to about there. And we'll need an inside, kind of like this. What do you think? I think that's a table. What I need to do is do some constructive erasing. Okay, let's get Louie back. I'm going to put a couch on this wall, and the first thing I need to know is how high is the seat of the couch? So what we need to do is put the seat of the couch not right at his knee there, but just a little bit lower so that so much shorter people are also comfortable, and Louie can always protrude his legs out a little bit. So let's make the seat of the couch right there, right about there. From there, I'm just going to block in the couch really quick. We'll bring it into the room maybe this far. And there's going to be an arm on the couch. Let's put it up there. And the couch has to have a back, so let's put it there. I'm just going to block it in nicely. I'm just doing this so I have nice square corners to reference my construction lines to, or from. The reason I'm doing a couch is not just to repeat the table, but to show you how this process applies to round and soft things as well. And I'll bet you know what I'm going to do next. I don't know if I need this line, but it'll help to have it. But I do want this one. And I certainly want this one. Let's cut this couch off, and let's cut it off a little beyond the table. So here's a good thing to work with. This point here, where the end of the table leg hits the floor is right here. And that's going to hit the wall right there. Now, if we go a little bit farther, say like this, then this is going to hit the wall right there, this wall, right? Because you see that corner coming in there. So from there, we're going to need to go here and draw this line. And now we're going to draw this line, and we're going to draw this line, and we're going to draw this line. I forgot to bring this in here. Let's just do that right now. So now we also want to get this line here. That's the top of the arm of the couch. And that should bring us back to here. This is all very confusing, so I'm just going to have to erase that, which is not couch. Looks like I erased the arm, but that should be pretty easy to fix. And while I'm at it, let's erase the lines that the couch obstructs. Can't see the floor anymore in this area. And it looks like I made a mistake somewhere in here, so why don't I just correct that error? There it is, that's all. Let me show you how to round this thing off and set it up into a couch. First, I'm just going to round the back here. Bring it down to here. The arm begins somewhere around here. That looks about right, doesn't it? Comes out like this, and of course, follows that line, comes down to here. We're going to need a cushion on the back of the couch. We can do this freehand easily. Couch cushions are never straight anyway. So let's say we want it, this long. And forward edge of the cushion is here, coming like this. And bottom of the cushion is going to go back in there. And we don't know where that's going to hit. Let's do the front cushions now. Well, here we've already got this laid out for us. And it'll turn here, and we'll let the back cushion hit there, okay? So now we're going to turn here. We're going to follow this line. And we have this already, so let's do this. Need straight. And this. But we're going to have another cushion just like this, coming down on the same line. So what we'll kind of just do is we'll make the front of this cushion here and follow out this way. And we'll take the back of this cushion and follow this line. That'll do. And then we just follow the same thing with the cushion here on the bottom. Another one here. Another one here. You got the drill. Now I'm going to clean it up, ink it in, and show you what it is we drew. So what do you think? Is it a masterpiece? Well, hardly. But now that all the confusion of lines is out of here, there's one more little thing I want to do. I want to put a painting above the couch on this wall here, and I want to make it the exact same height as this painting. So look how easy that is to do. I'm just going to put this out here, this out here, and then we're going to just go from this intersection here where that line meets the corner, and same here, and if we want to decide that the painting is a little shorter than the couch, so it goes here, and it runs out of the picture as well, that's fine. You can see where this line representing the top of the painting and this line representing the bottom of the painting. And while we're at it, we can add molding. About the same there. And down here. And here. And this painting is now the exact same height as that one, and it's believable. I'm going to ink that in too and then erase the construction lines. All right, that's about as close to perfect as we can get a demonstration. I think it went pretty well considering that I had one hand on the camera, one on the sound, and two on the drawing. Now you have a pretty good idea of what a vanishing point is and how to use it. You're ready to go on to 2 and even 3-point perspective.